As we continue our series on the things we commit to doing together as people of the United Methodist Church, today's word is service. These past weeks, we've considered prayers, presents, gifts, and today is service. I wonder what comes to mind when you think of serving or Christian service. Perhaps a service project or a service trip. Now, I noticed in the verses that Nancy just read for us, what is not emphasized and hardly present at all is mention of those who need help. Service is as much about our discipleship, more about our discipleship, as it is about offering help. This whole discourse, this whole discussion with Jesus is about being like Jesus, not so much about those that are receiving service or help. You know how sometimes service projects or service trips paint the bleakest picture of the neighborhood or the country that's the destination, or sensationalizes the situation that we're going to go be part of? In my opinion, that's a way of setting ourselves up as better. Exactly what Jesus warns against here. We don't center ourselves as lords, ones with authority or knowledge or resources or power or even the moral high ground above others. Neither do we center the need of others in a sensationalized way or, making out an exotic identity. We have things to offer, yes. But we also have things to learn, fellowship to share, worship to bring, relationships to build. We're humans, serving God and each other together, wherever we might go in service. A service trip I went on as an undergraduate in college had a significant impact on me. We went to inner city Los Angeles from Santa Barbara, where I was a student at Westmont College, for spring break. And we visited a couple Westmont grads who were doing ministry in a pretty rough neighborhood. And they chose to live right there in the neighborhood. To them, that was key to what they were doing. They said, you can try to drive in from the suburbs and transform the inner city, but no one's going to trust you, and you can't really know what the experience is like. This couple were planning to send their young children to the local public school so that local education was our issue, not the problem of those who were trying to help. Not an issue they adopted on behalf of others, but one they got involved in as members of the community, parents of kids at the school. Maybe this helped frame my mindset when I arrived in Uganda as a consultant for residential programs at Uganda Christian University. I had been a resident assistant in a normal residence hall dorm as an undergrad. I was also the residential coordinator on a study abroad program where we frequently moved and stayed in different hotels, a traveling Europe semester. As a Master of Divinity student at Duke, my first year I was an RA, lived on the upper class campus as a resident assistant with mostly juniors, seniors, a few sophomores. My last 2 years at Duke, I was a hall director. So I was on the freshman campus, and I was the top dog that lived there in that building. So I had a few years of experience in a few different residence life settings, and I had a master's degree. But upon arrival at UCU, I soon found that the janitor who'd been working on campus for years knew much more than I did about African students and what their lives were like. It was very appropriate for me to learn from this mzee, a term of respect for an older person valued in the community for wisdom and experience. I did have things to offer to students, residence life in the classroom, and things to contribute to the university. But I also needed help learning about the culture and setting, personally and professionally. We were humans, serving God and each other together. John Wesley, in one of his sermons, on average much longer than mine, just so you know, he said, one of the principal rules of religion is to lose no occasion of serving God. And since he is invisible to our eyes, we are to serve him in our neighbor, which he receives as if done to himself in person, standing visibly before us. So Christian service is something we are all called to do. This is what it means to follow Jesus. I think this is what Jesus is explaining to James and John, who are hoping they get the reward at the end of the work of following Jesus. And Jesus explains the service is the reward. This is Christian life. Both clergy and laity are in service together with distinct but overlapping roles. Methodism has always valued lay people. Church folks who aren't ordained just come and worship and work and fellowship and serve. Pastors and church members are people serving God and each other together. Clergy should not lord over laity, nor should laity bully or manipulate their pastors. We are all to serve God, each other, and our wider community. Your pastors will not be perfect, and you will not be perfect, but we grow together and we do our best together, helping each other out, serving the wider world, and forgiving as needed. You all, as far as I can tell, have received me in this way, and I am so grateful. There are, of course, many ways to serve in our congregation and our local community and beyond. So consider your skills, what time you have available in terms of each week or longevity of commitment, your questions, your interests. If there's something you'd like to see at Desert Skies or something you're seeing that you don't particularly like the direction, get involved. If you have areas of concern in local church life or more broadly, find a way to get involved. And perhaps, after reading this passage that Nancy read for us, with us, we can consider our own discipleship. How do we need to be challenged to learn and grow and serve? I think there's opportunities to serve before you pretty often. So I won't rehash a list, but if there's something that's on your heart, or if you have a question, please do reach out to me or one of your lay leaders, or call the church office, or if you know someone involved in a ministry you'd like to know more about, have some conversations. One that I remembered this week that doesn't often get a mention, United Methodist Nomads. Does anyone know who the Nomads are? All right, somebody does. Nomads on a mission in divine service. That's Nomads. Nomads are often retirees, but not limited to retirees, who jump in their RV usually, and often to escape the weather. For us, it would be that you want to head north out of the desert, out of the heat in the summer. For those coming from the north, they want to come see us and serve us in the season coming up. When I was in Page, at Page Community United Methodist Church, we had the Nomads come, and they helped out on our facilities quite a bit, and in my parsonage as well, that's right next door to the church in Page. So if you like RVs and jumping in your RV, you could join one Nomads destination or make it a lifestyle for a while. If you're interested in things outside our local community, there is United Methodist Volunteers in Mission and teams with United Methodist Committee on Relief, for instance, who are in North Carolina on the ground right now, helping in areas that FEMA responds to. The United Methodist Committee on Relief is there to help connect people with FEMA resources, clean out their homes, make sure they're safe. There is a training that you need to do before you join one of those teams so that you're giving people the best and correct information and specific to that location, hopefully as well. Again, if you'd like to know more, you can Google United Methodist Volunteers in Mission or UMCOR, or talk to me or someone in our congregation or conference who can tell you more. I did have an opportunity to go on a service trip to Puerto Rico following the 2 hurricanes several years ago. The Methodist Church in Puerto Rico put out a call for assistance, and our bishop heard that call and put together a team of clergy and sent us to Puerto Rico to assist, where we went to a local Methodist camp and helped get it ready so they could receive students for the camp season of summer break. If you are not able to get out much in person, there are still ways to serve. You're a valuable member of our community. You could perhaps help prepare some Sunday school materials, or knit or crochet for our prayer shawl ministry, or write cards or make phone calls on behalf of Desert Skies to people connected with our congregation. If you have ideas, they are welcome. And friends, thank you for sharing service with me. I can't do it by myself, and I don't want to. For the richness, the fullness of life and community, as Ken prayed earlier, comes from serving each other and serving together. Thank you for embodying that with me and as Desert Skies United Methodist Church. I'm so happy to serve with you. In the name of the Creator, Redeemer, and Sustainer, thanks be to God. Amen.